What's up, everybody?
Hey, go close that door. We've had some technical difficulties to get to y'all today, but here we are. Some sort of Wi-Fi issues. Does anybody else have a storm going on in Southwest Florida? Storming in our neck of the woods?
So what's up?
Hi, everybody. Rachel and Jerry Niesman. We are
here to talk about it on Talk About It Tuesday.
We are the Niesman Team.
Oh, that too.
Yeah. Niesman Team at Keller Williams Realty, here to talk about it every Tuesday live at 4 p.m. on Facebook. We discuss all things real estate. If it looks like I'm looking funny, we're using a different computer today because technical glitches, but we're here and we're here to get into it. As always, our video today is sponsored by us. So if you are interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate here in Southwest Florida or anywhere across the globe, please give Jerry a call, 239-201-9583. We will be happy to help you. You have a lot of experience, don't we?
A little bit. Just a little.
It's our 11th full year in full-time real estate. And yeah, living the dream, loving it, helping clients all day, every day. So today our topic is pros and cons of living in Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte.
And Port Charlotte. We're doing both.
But we're not doing Babcock Ranch. Explain.
All right. So we're doing Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte, but Babcock Ranch, even though it's in Punta Gorda technically, it's basically becoming a city all of its own, and it's very different from the rest of Punta Gorda.
Do you think?
Or Port Charlotte.
Do you think it will be?
So we're going to hit that separately.
Is it going to be its own city? Is there any push to have their own municipality at some point? Is that the right word?
With the population, so anybody that's familiar a little bit further north, I mean, it may not have its own address like Lakewood Ranch does, but for anybody that's familiar a little bit further north, just outside of Sarasota, well, partly in Sarasota, partly in Bradenton, partly its own city of Lakewood Ranch.
It's Lakewood Ranch.
It started out as cow pastures, and with some very prominent marketing. They did a great job of developing it and selling it, and now you can buy multi-million-dollar homes in Lakewood Ranch.
So we'll get to that one day soon because we cover Lakewood Ranch. I was going to say we have clients in Lakewood Ranch.
Yep.
And so we want to focus today. We have covered pros and cons of living in North Fort Myers, and Cape Coral, and plan on doing. We're headed a little bit north. We're going to do Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte today. In the future, we're going to be doing Babcock Ranch and then heading north to.
Well, I think we're going to bounce back and forth.
Oh, okay.
We're going to kind of work our way further away from the center, which is
we bypassed Lehigh.
We haven't got there yet.
Oh.
So we went to Cape Coral, but now we still got to go east too. So we got to do Lehigh, we got to do Arcadia, we got to do Alva.
Okay.
There's more.
I don't know that I can draft up pros and cons of living in Arcadia. If anybody wants to help me, if anybody has any personal experience giving pros and cons of living in Arcadia, Florida.
We know people who grew up in Arcadia.
We do know people who grew up in Arcadia. I bet they can. I am going to hit them up. So let's talk Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte. I told you last week we announced that we were going to do Punta Gorda. And I lumped together Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte together. And it's because in all of my research, it seems like home shoppers are typically comparing those two to each other.
Typically, yeah.
So
they're right on
the Peace River.
Yeah, they're right on the banks of the Peace River. Port Charlotte is on the north side. Punta Gorda is on the south side, and the Charlotte Harbor.
Correct. So my best summary that I came up with for the difference between Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte is Punta Gorda, people call it a small port town. There's cobblestone streets. There's a really cool, one of my favorite things about Punta Gorda is a really cool historic district that's very walkable. It's got great nightlife. It's there's access to the waterways, right?
Yes. So
tell me about the home differences between them. What am I going to find for homes in terms of Punta Gorda versus Port Charlotte?
I mean, they're pretty similar, really. Okay. But depending on where you're at and where you're looking, but you've got more historic home. Well, really, the historic homes are in Punta Gorda. So if you're looking for something like that, Punta Gorda is the spot. Port Charlotte doesn't really have any specifically designated like historic area.
Right.
But outside of the historic stuff, you can find a little bit less expensive homes in Port Charlotte. Like there's a lot of the 50s, 60s, and early 70s build like smaller Gulf access homes in Port Charlotte. Not as many in Punta Gorda.
So a couple people pointed out, and it's interesting. I didn't realize the population difference. Proper Punta Gorda is like 19,000 people versus 62,000 in Port Charlotte. Does that number surprise you? It surprises me.
Well, again, we get into kind of similar like we talked about in Fort Myers. The Punta Gorda city limits is a very small area, but Punta Gorda as an address encompasses a huge amount of land.
Correct.
If you're familiar with where Punta Gorda is, like right on the coast, all the way to Babcock Ranch, which is way out east of where we live.
And it's just north of Cape Coral.
Correct.
So they touch borders. The southern Punta Gorda touches base with the border of northern Cape Coral.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a map. Yep, correct. And so it is a huge, vast space, but the numbers that I run is going to be city of Punta Gorda.
Right.
So, which is, we'll get into, let's start getting, the overall description of Port Charlotte. We said Punta Gorda was, felt like a small port town where you have homes and marinas and access to the Peace River. And then Port Charlotte is more of a large planned community with like more of a suburban feel. So you mentioned Port Charlotte's not going to have like the historic district.
Right.
And some of the more, I feel like it's more cultured, not cultured, but has more cultural events.
Punta Gorda does.
Punta Gorda over Port Charlotte. What Port Charlotte is lots of suburban area with, like Port Charlotte has a mall. Punta Gorda doesn't have one. Port Charlotte has restaurants and shopping that Punta Gorda does not have. Punta Gorda has boutique shopping and small family-run businesses in their historic districts. In fact, I would like to ask you, do you think that Punta Gorda is like a little baby, cheaper Sarasota? It kind of reminds me of that.
Yes, a much smaller version.
It's like one street.
It's a few streets, but it's not much more than that.
Yeah.
Where Sarasota's downtown historic district is much larger.
Of course.
But yes, it is a smaller.
And let's talk.
Smaller version.
Talk about cheaper, much less expensive. So it's much less expensive, smaller version of like a Sarasota, boutique-y, historic, like quaint shops, small family-run restaurants. Whereas you go to Port Charlotte and like there's your Olive Garden, there's your Texas Roadhouse, there's your Hobby Lobby. There, don't quote me on that. Don't be going out there, but they do have a mall. Port Charlotte has two proper hospitals. So if you want to be close to medical care. So it's like a large planned community.
Yes.
With tons of suburban area. What's the
Port
average?
Charlotte has a Harley dealership.
Ooh.
And a baseball stadium.
It does. It's on my list.
Tampa Bay Rays spring training.
There's there's a sports park. There's fairgrounds. So if you ever want to go to like the fair, we have here in North Fort Myers, we mentioned the Lee County, the Lee Civic Center. Port Charlotte has a fairgrounds as well. So somebody on, this isn't my opinion, in my research, there's a website that I use called niche.com, Niche, or niche, depending on how you say it, niche.com. You can type in, I don't know if you guys have ever been to this website, you can type in a city or a county or something, and you can read real people's reviews of what it's like to live there. As we start getting further away from where I've actually personally lived. Now, Jerry shows houses all over the place, but I don't have that experience. So when I do my research, I looked there. Somebody kind of summed up Port Charlotte by saying, this town is absolutely perfect for older folks. And it is a perfect retirement suburban area. If you don't want the flashbang jazz of Sarasota, if you're not looking to retire to sorry, we love you. Highfalutin Naples, y'all know it. We love you for it. Like that, there's the spot. If you are looking for just low key, beautiful Florida sunshine, go fishing. That Port Charlotte is probably a great option because it's so affordable. So much more so than the city of Punta Gorda. It's the in terms of price value, in terms of home price, median home price.
I would say you've got more spread in terms of like you can get Gulf access homes in Port Charlotte in the 300s still.
Sure. Yes.
And you're not going to find a Gulf access single family home in Punta Gorda for in the 300s. You would be hard pressed to find one in the 400s. But they're bigger, newer homes in Punta Gorda typically. Like the historic district is downtown. Most of those are not on the water. They're not really like typically Gulf access canals where you put your boat in your backyard. That's more Punta Gorda Isles. But then when you go to Port Charlotte, there's smaller homes. They were built, like I said, in the 50s, 60s, early 70s. You can get those in the 300s still.
Or you can get brand new homes. Or you
can get newer, bigger stuff. Yeah. I mean, you can go to South Gulf Cove. Is a fantastic location for Gulf access, super quick, easy out. And you can build a brand new home there for, a lot of people compare that to Gulf access in Cape Coral, and you're averaging $150,000 to $200,000 less expensive for a comparable home. So there's a ton of flexibility, a ton of different options.
I heard a lot of people say when you were considering between the two to also consider highlighting your search along southern Port Charlotte, because there's benefits to living in Port Charlotte, but you're just as close to hopping over the river into the Punta Gorda Historic District.
Right. It's a 5-minute drive over the river.
It's a 5-minute drive over the bridge, and then you have all of the nice. Let's talk about that's got to be the biggest pro of Punta Gorda, right? It's the historic district that's very walkable. Has cool nightlife. If you've been in Southwest Florida for a while and you haven't been to the Celtic Grey, get out there. It's one of our favorite spots. They got cool Irish music and food, and there are cool, there's a legitimate nightlife in Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
Probably the closest, after downtown Fort Myers. So downtown Fort Myers has a little bit of a nightlife, and then you're going up to downtown Punta Gorda is the next option. And the cafe lined little main streets, it's really quaint. It really is. Both Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte, some of the benefits, some of the pros are the outdoor activities and access to walking paths and trails, just like everywhere we've kind of mentioned. That's kind of the beauty of living in Florida, is you can be outside all the time. Of course, a big pro of Punta Gorda is the waterway access. So I have on the pro list, Port Charlotte has a mall. I don't know if anyone's been in the Port Charlotte mall. Malls aren't necessarily the big call to thrill, but if you're looking,
not that they used to be, but
listen, if you're a retiree that's looking to walk in the morning indoor, and you want to go indoors in the air conditioning, that could be a benefit. You could it's basically like a free gym where you can go walk through with your friends. And 2 hospitals, fairgrounds, sports park. Both of them have nice, easy access to the 75 and prevent this. I'm not quoting this based on my experience, but I've seen from what other people are saying is that it's got nice, low taxes.
Yeah, Charlotte County is one of the lowest tax rates in the area.
Great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And
so really low taxes is one of the biggest calls to that area, and affordable housing. So you're talking, it's going to be similar to North Fort Myers, Cape Coral, cheaper than North Fort Myers, Cape Coral.
Depending on what it is, but yeah, I mean your Gulf access stuff is typically less expensive.
In Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's a little bit less expensive than Fort Myers and Cape Coral. And then you've got some significant new developments coming in too. So in southern Punta Gorda, there's some large new master plan communities.
Isn't Burnstore Marina in Punta Gorda?
Yeah, Burnstore Marina. Well, yeah, it's a Punta Gorda address, but you're technically in Lee County. in Birdstorm Marina.
Okay.
Because so they didn't change the county line, but when they were developing Birdstorm Marina, they wanted city water and sewer. And Cape Coral had zero interest in pulling city water and sewer all the way up there. But Punta Gorda said, yeah, we'll do it. And
if you haven't seen the pros and cons of Cape Coral, go check that video out.
So they annexed Birdstorm Marina into the Punta Gorda city limits and then ran city water and sewer to it.
Cool.
So Birdstorm Marina is technically in Punta Gorda,
and that
but
place
also
is
in Lee
awesome.
County. Super nice marina, community, golf course,
farmers
tons
markets,
of activities.
restaurants, movie theaters. It's just a really incredible community. We really enjoy.
So that's been there for a while. But in between downtown Punta Gorda and Birdstorm Marina,
yes,
they're developing all up and down 41 there. There's all kinds of new development. They're widening the road.
Cool.
And there's a new golf course community that's going in there.
I have a very small portion of this bench underneath us.
You do, and I do too. That's what happens.
Technical
difficulties. We had to make an adjustment, and
we
got a little
tiny
bench to sit on.
So,
and then what else? Oh, in Port Charlotte, there's a huge new development going too.
What's that?
Westport.
Okay. 6
different builders.
Oh my goodness.
Building like 8 different neighborhoods right now that they all started, and so you have to check out our YouTube channel on Westport. A couple of the builders just released some pricing and some home sites, so we need to update with that information. But check it out, and you can see the very beginnings. The beginning of a new community is
awesome.
Absolute best value to get in.
Call us if you want to see it. All right, let's talk cons real quick because we got 9 minutes and we got to be out of here. We have to be at a 5 o'clock appointment 30 minutes away. So let's go.
All right.
So I have for the cons of Punta Gorda is you have city of Punta Gorda government versus Charlotte County. So Port Charlotte's governed by Charlotte County.
Correct. Port Charlotte is not a city.
Correct. It's
an unincorporated area.
Okay, of Charlotte County.
Correct. Which
I hear that the city, I don't live there, but the city of Punta Gorda government, they're strict.
They have some additional rules,
just like Cape Coral did.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Cape Coral. They've got a lot of local city ordinances that not everybody likes to have to abide by.
A big downfall of Punta Gorda specifically is y'all ain't got a beach.
Neither does Port Charlotte. So, however,
but it's closer to the beaches than Punta Gorda is. So yes, that's one that would give you, if you're a beach person, you're going to look northern Punta Gorda, I'm assuming.
Northern Port Charlotte? No, it's actually western Port Charlotte because you're close to Inglewood Beach.
Okay, perfect. All right. So yes, but there are no beaches. So if you're like now, let me tell you, I live in Florida and I don't like the beach. I don't like going. It's filthy. It's dirty. It's salty. There's bugs and it's gross. So I prefer a swimming pool in a community or in my home. So if that's not something that's a big deal for you, then no big deal. But let's be real. A lot of people retire to Florida for the beaches. And on the heels of no beaches, there's no big attractions. There's not
Well, I mean, what about the pirate festival?
That's Tampa.
No, they have a pirate festival in Punta Gorda.
Oh. Did you? Okay, so I will say that
it's only once a year, but they got a pirate festival.
I will say Punta Gorda. I've seen more events and opportunity for fun, cool things. When there were like protests going on in our country, I saw gatherings in Punta Gorda well before I saw gatherings in Port Charlotte. I don't think I saw any. It is a active community with a sense of community. They have events, they host festivals, they have things in the historic district happening, but there's no amusement park. There's
none of Southwest Florida has an amusement park unless you go to Tampa.
Zoomers, I'm kidding.
It's closed.
Again.
No,
already open again. Oh, I'm literally falling off the chair. Okay. So yes, no, there's another quote from this website I use is There's not much to do in town, and fun is a 30-minute drive away. So, but not everybody's out there seeking adventure.
No,
not
people
everybody's
come to
out
Florida
there
to relax. Southwest Florida specifically.
Right.
You want to go party and have adventure, you go to Miami.
Somebody said Punta Gorda, and Punta Gorda specifically, they were talking about Punta Gorda is the perfect place to go waste your time for 2 days, and on the third day you learn what it's like to be a Floridian relaxing in Florida, and we all just go to drinks like liquor, like it's 5 o'clock somewhere, margarita time. Like that's the attraction, is hanging out with your neighbors and friends. So what else? Not much to do. Oh, here's something that's interesting. I had one homeowner who said, I live on a canal with a boat. Punta Gorda, he was talking about, he or she. I live on a canal with a boat, but it's useless in the winter months because the canal is too low most of the time. Is that a thing that happens?
So it depends on where you are.
Okay.
In Punta Gorda, in PGI, Punta Gorda Isles.
Okay.
There is nothing controlling the water level.
Okay.
So
fascinating.
At the very ends of some of the canals, because there's nothing controlling the water level except for the tide, and the water level's lower because we don't have as much rain, we don't have as much water coming down the river.
Right.
Your canals can get low, and you don't have enough water for your boat to go. That's one of the pluses to South Gulf Cove, is there's a lock. So to get in and out of South Gulf Cove, there's a lock that you go through. Now, you have to wait to be able to get through it, but it controls the water level, so you never have that problem in South Gulf Cove.
There you go. That's the place to go if you're boating.
So it just depends on what it is. It also depends on the type of boat. A lot of people have fishing boats that draft 6 inches of water, and you can get in and out of pretty much anything.
Sure.
But if you got a sailboat, then you might have a problem with a 2 or 3 foot keel.
So only 2 more things. One kind of Punta Gorda, I think we've already mentioned it, is that Punta Gorda is more expensive than Port Charlotte. I believe the median home price of Port Charlotte was approximately $172 in the 170s.
How long ago was that?
This is recent. Not now, not 2021. I'm assuming.
No, this
probably
is probably
last year,
2019, 2020 numbers.
Right. So
it's changed a little since then.
But they listed in the same year range, just to compare the two to each other. It was in like the 340s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge difference. And so that might be a consideration. And the final con of Punta Gorda in Port Charlotte, I saw over and over again complaints about the snowbird seasonal traffic and accidents, that there was constant, it's 41, right? It's 41 with its 40-mile-an-hour speed limit and 87 restaurants and shops in like every little
just
block.
Pay attention when you're pulling in and out of. Like,
when you have one of the one of the downfalls of living in Florida, I'm assuming everywhere in Florida that's kind of a snowbird destination or retirees, you have people who are used to driving all across the country, all across the world.
Yeah, all different driving styles.
They don't know the roadways because they're not driving it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last 30 years. So you do need to always be, whether it's there or Fort Myers or anywhere, you have to be a very cautious, defensive driver. Yeah, you got to be a defensive. You need to watch every direction because people miss things. There's a lot of 41 fender benders.
Don't text.
Yeah, be a safe driver. And that's it.
Don't watch YouTube.
That's all we got for today. I feel judged. I'm not watching YouTube ever. Driving. No, listen, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a great time talking about Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. As promised, we are going to talk about pros and cons of living in Babcock Ranch next week. We may even have a special guest. I feel like you should do this with a special guest. We know some Babcock Ranch people.
We do.
So I wonder if we can link you up with one of them.
Are you saying we should have the mayor?
Let's have the mayor on, man. Will he come up with a con?
We know the mayor of Babcock Ranch.
Will he come up with a con though? Like,
I don't know.
Will he be able to? If you know who we're talking about, message Jerry. We want to have you on next week if you can. If you can get around it. And talk about the pros and cons of living in Babcock Ranch. Actually, Jerry and I are taking the kids this Sunday to Babcock Ranch. We're gonna show you guys what it's like,
what Babcock is like, and some of the activities.
So we're gonna be able to do it ourselves. Experts. And that's all we got for today. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, Rachel and Jerry, Niesman Team with Keller Williams Realty, 239-201-9583, or you can email us jerryniesman@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Be sure you add us on the YouTubes. This is going to go
like
there.
And subscribe and ring the bell.
Boop, boop, boop. I don't even know what that
means.
The
bell gives you, that's the notifications, so that it gives them notifications every time we post a new video.
I have that on my phone with a lot of YouTube channels, not ours, though.
Well, you should put ours on there. What kind of garbage is that?
I'm here for all the videos. What do I need? What do I need to know when they go?
Because it's better for our channel.
It's the algorithm.
Yes, it helps us in the algorithm.
Oh, you listen to you, YouTuber. It's the algorithm. Bye, everybody.
See y'all later. Thanks for watching.